Welcome students. Hope you must have gone through the first submodule of quantum mechanics, in which we have discussed the introduction to quantum mechanics, blackbody radiation, and the spectrum obtained for blackbody radiation. So what we have seen that in that spectrum, if you have gone through the last class, this is the spectrum what we have obtained from a blackbody radiation. So this spectrum is based on the experimental data obtained at different temperature. So now, why this spectrum looks like this? What is the theory behind this? So in today's submodule, we will be covering the different laws proposed to explain the spectrum trend or the nature of the spectrum of this blackbody radiation. So in today's lecture, we will be covering Stephan-Boltzmann law, then Wien's displacement law, Rayleigh's radiation law, and Planck's law. As we have seen in the spectrum at different wavelengths, that is the intensity we have taken in the y-axis, and in the x-axis we have taken the wavelength. We have seen by changing temperature and wavelength, the intensity density, the radiation density is changing, and that's what is shown in the spectrum. So these are the few laws which are proposed to explain the trend of the spectrum. The first one is Stephan-Boltzmann law. So this law gives the relationship between the intensity of the radiation and temperature. As we have seen there, as we are increasing the temperature, we are getting different graphs. So what is the relation between the intensity and the temperature at which the radiation is taking place? Like first we have to heat the blackbody to a particular temperature, then the radiations are collected for different wavelengths. So this is the law proposed by Stephan-Boltzmann, which gives you the relation between the intensity of the radiation and temperature. So this was first formulated by Stephan in 1879, and then it was derived by Boltzmann. That's what the name is Stephan-Boltzmann, because two of physicists are involved in this law. So first it is formulated by the Austrian physicist Stephan in 1879, and later it is derived by Boltzmann using thermodynamic consideration. And the statement of Boltzmann, what this law states, that the total radiation emitted from the surface of a black body is proportional to the fourth power of the temperature for which we are considering the graph. Okay, so whatever the temperature to which we are hitting the body, so if you consider the temperature, the radiation emitted is directly proportional to the fourth power of the temperature. Okay, so if E is the radiant heat energy and T is the absolute temperature, then E is equals to sigma T to the power 4. Here E is the radiation intensity that is directly proportional to fourth power of the temperature. So if you will remove that proportionality sign, that will be E is equals to sigma T to the power 4. Okay, so this sigma is called as Stephan-Boltzmann constant, and its value is 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 watt per meter square Kelvin to the power 4. So this law gives us the relation between temperature and the radiation emitted by the black body. Now the second one is Wien's displacement law. So law was proposed by Wien. So this is the physicist William Wien, and he derived this law in 1893. The relationship is given between the temperature and wavelength where it emits the maximum amount of radiation. As we have seen, at different wavelength for a particular temperature, if we consider the graph, for different wavelengths we are getting different amount of radiation. So this Wien's law gives us the relationship between the temperature and the value of wavelength for which we are getting the peak in the curve. That is the wavelength at which it emits the most. So the statement of this law is that the product of the peak wavelength and the temperature is constant. What is the meaning of this peak wavelength? Okay, so now this is the spectrum what we are discussing. So if we are considering a particular graph, say this graph for 4000 Kelvin. So here it will see this is the wavelength for which we are getting the maximum radiation intensity. But for if we are changing the temperature, again we are getting the maximum intensity for a different value of wavelength. So this law proposed by Weber states that the product of the temperature and the corresponding value of the wavelength for which we are getting the maximum or the peak, that is a constant. So here if you are considering this one, so this is the maximum peak for this corresponding wavelength we can take here. For the second graph, if you can, so this is the peak and the corresponding wavelength will come over here. So that wavelength into 3000 will be same as this corresponding wavelength and 4000. So that is the thing which is given that product of the wavelength for which we are getting the peak and the corresponding temperature is a constant. So this is lambda mt is equals to lambda m is the wavelength for which we are getting the peak in the car. T is the absolute temperature to which the black body was heated. So this product is a constant that is equals to 2.8978 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter Kelvin, because meter is the SI unit of wavelength and temperature is in Kelvin. So unit is meter Kelvin. So now for this work he got the Nobel Prize in 1911. Okay. So coming to the law, we can use this law like it is giving a relation between the wavelength for which we are getting the maximum radiation and temperature. So if one can know the wavelength for which we are getting the maximum amount of radiation, then using that formula one can calculate the temperature. So for example, for sun that lambda maximum is 502 nanometer, that is the given value, then we know lambda and T is equals to this. So to find out the temperature of the sun, we can use this simple formula to estimate the approximate temperature of sun. So here if we put this value over here, then T will be equals to this divided by 502, and this will give you a value is equals to 5773 Kelvin or 5500 centigrade. So this is the approximate temperature of sun. Now the second law which was proposed is by Rayleigh and Jeans. So this law is known as Rayleigh-Jeans radiation law. So this is giving us the relationship between temperature and radiation density in terms of wavelength and as well as frequency. So this energy density is given as 8 pi kT by lambda 4, and in terms of frequency, nu is the frequency. We know that v is equals to nu lambda. V is the velocity. Velocity is equals to frequency into wavelength. So from that we can find out that relation can be converted here. So it is the energy density in terms of wavelength is given as 8 pi kT by lambda 4. In terms of frequency, it is given as 8 pi nu square kT by Ck. Is here this K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the absolute temperature of the black body and nu is the frequency, and c is the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So these are the two formulas, one in terms of wavelength and the other one in terms of frequency. This is given by Snelling and Jean. Here, if you can see the first equation, if you are increasing the value of lambda, then this value will decrease. So what is this happening over here? As we are increasing the value of lambda, the energy density is decreasing. So this can explain the spectrum in a larger wavelength. But at the same decreasing this lambda, if you are going to this side, for a lower value, this E should increase. But you can see after this value, though we are reducing the value of the wavelength, in spite of getting a increased value, we are getting a decrease in the value. There is a reduction in the intensity. Okay, so this cannot be explained by Rayleigh's. So what we have seen is this law can explain the spectrum at a larger wavelength, but this fails to explain the nature of the spectrum at a smaller value of wavelength. And this mismatch, if you see, as we are decreasing this wavelength value of this wavelength to a very small value, this should go to infinity, increasing value, but it is not going infinity. So this mismatch at the shorter wavelength is known as ultraviolet catastrophe. So this is the main drawback of Rayleigh's radiation law, because it could not explain the radiation spectrum at a shorter value of wavelength. So these are the laws we have seen till now. Wien's law. These are the three things you can see. This red one is by Wien's law, and this one, this black dot line, is through Rayleigh's law. So through Rayleigh's law, the larger wavelength, it matches with the spectrum, but as we are going to short wavelengths, it is going to infinity, so it could not explain the spectrum properly. And Wien's law also, there is a mismatch at the larger wavelength. So to overcome these things, Planck came up with a new theory, because all these laws what we have discussed till now, they are basically they have considered the classical mechanics to derive their concepts. But finally they came to a conclusion that they could not explain the radiation spectrum properly. Now the next law is proposed by Planck. So this law, in the late 1890s, Wien and Rayleigh formulated different equations, but they could not explain it properly. So now comes the Planck's, this is Max Planck. So he proposed a law based on some assumptions, and there, that is the point where we got a transition from classical mechanics to quantum mechanics. He is the person who told that, like in classical mechanics, the main thing is we are considering energy is a continuous value. But he told that no, that is not the thing. There is some issues where we are going to microscopic level, and that's what we could not explain these things by using classical mechanics. So he proposed the law, which is known as Planck's law, and he could explain the spectrum properly using this law. So in 1900, Planck, he derived the equation to explain this black body radiation. Okay, and he could explain the black body radiation properly. Now, for this work, he got the Nobel Prize in 1918. If you remember, when got the Nobel Prize in 1911, and Planck made the transition from classical to quantum, where that in classical mechanics the energy is a continuous thing, but here he took two assumptions. He told that if we consider the subatomic particles as an oscillators, then those oscillators have a discrete value of energy. It cannot possess a continuous value. So the total assumptions what he has made, which is the basic of the quantum mechanics, is based on two assumptions. The first one, he told that the oscillators are having discrete value of energy, and it is given as En is equals to nh nu, where n is an integer. Okay, so it can be 1, 2, 3 like that. So it is an integer. H is Planck's constant, and nu is the frequency. So the value of H is 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules second. So he told if the first an oscillator is having an energy, let n is equals to 1. If it is having h nu energy, then the second possible energy is 2h nu, then the 3h nu, like that. But in between values like 0.5 h nu, 0.25 h nu, those things are fractional values are not possible. So only it possesses energies which are integral multiple of its constant value, that is h nu. And when the transition again takes place, because the labels are fixed at some integral values, so when an electron or proton makes a transition from one level to other level, so the difference of energy will be emitted or absorbed. If it is coming from a higher level to lower level, it will emit energy. At the same time, if some electron is moving from lower to higher energy states, then it will absorb that difference. Like if it is going from 2h nu to 4h nu, it will absorb an energy of amount 2h nu, and then it can move to the higher energy level. So the second assumption is that the oscillators can only absorb or emit energy which is a multiple time of h nu, integral multiple of h nu. So delta E is the amount of energy absorbed or emitted, and that is equals to an integral multiple of h nu. Okay, so now based on these two assumptions, Planck has given two, basically both are same, one in terms of wavelength and the other one is in terms of frequency. So he derived two equations which will give you the radiation density in terms of either wavelength or frequency. So these two are the laws proposed by Planck. The first one is in terms of wavelength, so and the second one is in terms of frequency. So here again this K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the absolute temperature of the radiating body, and C is nothing but our speed of light. So now this, as we have seen, using this Planck's law, the spectrum can be explained accurately. We can derive the Rayleigh-Jeans law. What we have seen, at higher value of wavelength, Rayleigh-Jeans law explaining the trend properly. So at higher wavelength, this Planck's law again reduces to Rayleigh-Jeans law. So it leads directly to Weins displacement law and Stefan Boltzmann law, as well as Rayleigh-Jeans law at higher wavelength. Okay, so this is how we started different laws proposed by Stefan Boltzmann, Wein, and Rayleigh-Jeans to explain the radiation spectrum, black body radiation, but they failed in some point, and at the beginning of 1900, Max Planck, he came up with this new theory of quantum mechanics, that is the beginning of this new era of mechanics, that is quantum mechanics. He came up with the law which can describe the black body radiation spectrum properly, and in the next class we will see how this law is derived. What is the, today I just show you the expression for Planck's law, but in the next class we will see how we derive this equation using the two assumptions. Okay, so after that you go through this model. If you have any doubts, you can post the queries in the link. Thank you and have a nice day.